Caroline County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. I'm going to ask Mr. Seeley if he would lead the invocation, after which if you would please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Before we do have the invocation, you stay standing. Before we do have the invocation, we're going to have a moment of silence. A trooper was killed last weekend down in Doswell or at the Kingston Million area. He was assigned to the State Fair for protection. So we'd like to have a moment of silence. His name was Mr. Fox, Trooper Fox.
Heavenly Father, look down upon us, guide us, grant us the wisdom to choose directions for everyday lives of the citizens of Caroline County. Remember all those who have given their lives and are stationed overseas to protect the liberties of this country. Look over the state police and the sheriff's office and their diligent duties to protect the citizens of this county and this country. And remember Trooper Fox. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there amendments to the agenda, Mr. Cully?
No, they're not.
Opening board comments, Mr. Black.
Yeah, just one brief one. I'd like to thank the State Fair and all those who ended up making this happen. I had the opportunity to go down there a few times, and it was really smooth, and it ran very well, and it was a great fair. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Taylor?
I have none at this time.
Mr. Underwood?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to echo the sentiments of Mr. Black. The State Fair, they really did a good job, I think. In the short time that they had, they really did an excellent job, so they are to be commended.
Thank you. Mr. Seeley?
I have none at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Thomas?
I do, yes, Mr. Chairman. Same thing on the State Fair. I think it's important to recognize that the citizens of Caroline worked hard to get the State Fair, and the citizens, along with the county staff, worked hard to keep the State Fair. And I'd just like to say thank you to the Farm Bureau and the new owners of the State Fair, and it was a good thing. And I think that's it. I'm going to be making some additions to my county website. I understand all of our emails are foyable, so I'm going to start posting some of the emails that I received to the county website so anybody can see them.
Okay. I have no opening comments this term. Presentations and reports. Report from Caroline County Agricultural Fair. Ms. Whitaker, it's good to see you this evening.
Nice to see you, Mr. Akers. Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, I know. Now, I always have trouble with this. You know I do this every year.
Move the button around first to make sure it comes up.
County Fair presentation. Here we go.
Thank you.
That isn't it. Is that it?
Thank you.
Thank you. I only do this once a year. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, and county government associates. My name is Francine Whitaker, and it's certainly my pleasure to be here tonight as president of the Caroline County Agricultural Fair Association to give you our 2012 report. And as you know, the county fair is a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose purpose is to educate about present-day agriculture, business, and community activities, and to encourage the understanding of agriculture history in Caroline County. And we're going to go through our 2012 update and see what's been happening. Of course, we start our year by attending the Virginia Association of Fairs Convention at the Homestead, and this is an event that fair volunteers attend on their own dollar, but it is an important event in that it gives us an opportunity to network with other fair associations throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. We do also participate by entering a competition called Communication Awards. In 2012, we were put into a medium fair category because of the attendance we had at our 2011 fair, but we still won first place for our advertising and merchandising items, so we were excited about that. Once again, we were voted the best event in Caroline, and that's the competition that the Caroline Progress does each year, so we were best event again for 2011. 2012 has been very good to the Fair Association. We have seen 3 new structures built at our fairground home. The Carlson Pavilion, made possible by a memorial donation from Robert and Frances Carlson in memory of their daughter Julie Ann. The Wickham B. Coleman Senior Pavilion, again a memorial donation pavilion made possible when Mr. Coleman passed away in April. He asked that contributions be made to the County Fair Association. We had taken the money and we built a pavilion, which we were needing a showroom, a show ring area. Anyway, we were going to rent a tent if we had not had this opportunity come available to us. And then again, Rappahannock Electric decided they wanted to also have a pavilion, and they provided donation and pledge. Very excited that our friends at Cobb Sign Company in Burlington, North Carolina, once again provided these signs for us free of charge. Again, a value of in excess of $7,000. These people have been very generous to us, and they enable us to have a very professional look to our pavilions at the county fair home. Of course, we continue to do improvements to existing buildings and our fairground. The Moyer Green building this year saw the addition of a permanent ramp in front, a 3rd heat pump, and a baby changing station, an item that many people have said in prior surveys that they wanted to see at the county fair site. Our James Tate Ag Pavilion, we are able to add a poultry bird display area along with storage. Martin Pavilion saw the addition of a concrete pad. And our Harold Hayes Hillcrest Gate, we were able to put finish work on that building and enclose the walls. Of course, the continued community and business support is overwhelming that comes to our association. People are very, very generous to us with donation of goods and services and money as well. The Coleman Memorial contributions and the building campaign saw us raise over $18,000. We are still receiving donations for that building campaign. We have no other fundraising campaigns planned for 2012. We, again, with the generosity of goods and services from various Caroline businesses, has allowed us to expand electric service, to do maintenance, continue our maintenance, and keeping our fairground home a nice-looking venue. Someone has to cut the grass, maintain landscaping. We were excited that we were able to work with the Caroline County High Ag classes this past spring on some of our landscaping projects that we had. Other developments in 2012 was expanded use of the fairground site. We are able to sponsor jointly with other nonprofits such as 4-H, the Humane Society, and the American Cancer Society, and we sponsor activities at our fairground site, as well as we are available for rent as well. 2012 saw the Lineman's Gaff and Go Rodeo being held at our site, and they were so excited and liked our venue so well, they're coming back in 2013. And just wanted to point out here that people came not only from Virginia, but Maryland, Delaware, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky as well. And this brought increased tourism dollars to the county because these people needed gas, food, and lodging for this 2-day event. So we were excited we were able to have that venue as well. Again, the Chamber Easter egg hunt was held there. And one thing we had was a circus, because when Meadow Event Park closed, the Piccadilly Circus had no place to go where they came to the county fair. So we had elephants and tigers and various and sundry things at the county fair, and the cows were on the other side of the fence. But anyway, it was a very interesting mix of animals in our area. But again, that brought people to Caroline that were going to go to the circus at Meadow Event that they probably would have never come to the county fair home. And we had flyers made up of about all of our events that we were having this spring, including our annual fair. So hoping that these people from the Richmond area would come back up to Caroline in July specifically. And then again, we are available for rent for family reunions and weddings, which we have had at our home. We wanted to promote the fair and get increased attendance to our annual fair, which this year was held July 11 through 14. We worked with Clear Channel Media and did a radio ad campaign. Well, this was a very excellent venture for us. We not only had all of the ads that we paid for, but we had terrific additional coverage with the disc jockeys, the Bill and Shelley show, the Bill Bevins show. They gave us so much additional airtime talking about the county fair and coming to Caroline. So we really got a lot of more bang for our buck than we ever imagined. And they're very excited to promote our venue, and we've already signed contract for 2013. We also work with Save the Date cards, trying to put information out there as soon as we can about the fair. We increased that number that we distributed throughout the year, continuing to advertise in Co-op Living magazine, as well as they specifically named our fair in their feature article. Direct mailing, over 26,000 households received our postcards. We have brochures. We use the social media, Facebook, as well as our website, having increased hits on those things as well. Of course, we also had to look at operational improvements in getting fair information out there as soon as we could in the early part of the year, having our vendor and sponsor information out there, looking at our site development plan, making sure we're on target. In fact, we've actually kind of exceeded what our targets were. Always, as you get larger, you have to look at your insurance coverage as well as your safety issues as well, and making a safe, having a safe venue for people that are coming to our operation. We were excited. The Coleman Pavilion opportunity kind of came pretty quickly because Mr. Coleman passed away in April, but we were able to build that pavilion and have it dedicated the first day of the fair, July 11. So that was a lot of work by a lot of volunteer hours, because we always use volunteer hours to build all of our buildings. We don't pay for anybody to hammer nails or anything out there at the fairground. So, but we were very excited that we were able to dedicate that pavilion on that day. Another exciting thing for us is that our attendance was up 2,000 over what we had in 2011. Our attendance was 9,500 people this year. You can see the number of children. Just to remind you that those 10 and under are free. Our admission is $5 for all others. We are able to continue to do that. In fact, we try to support Social Services Food Pantry on Saturday morning by having people bring canned goods in lieu of admission. But very excited, our attendance was up 2,000, more than what we had expected. Daycare Fridays, one of the banner events that we have during the fair. It's the children come. The fair is not open to the public. This year, our attendance was double as related to 2011. We were excited about that. We had just under 200 kids. We always are pleased that Caroline's Promise works with us in providing activities and games. And then our vendors, the Barcy Petting Zoo was there for the kids, as well as our racing pig vendor had a special race just for the kids. Another exciting thing this year is we had the Turkey Hill Dairy Giant Cow model there this year, and they provided ice cream for us to have available for these children. And then, of course, you have the usual animal displays. The 4-H children provided demonstrations, and they could see, everything in the fairground. Just the amusement rides aren't open for them. But it's all about agriculture and education, and that's the theme of Daycare Friday. As well as Farmer for a Day is another program that's done prior to being open to the public. And this gives an opportunity for these children to see how goods are provided from farm to the table. They actually see demonstrations with animals. They go to our garden plot, pick vegetables to take home, come back. We demonstrate processing those, and they actually have taste testing and that type of thing. That, again, has been met. This was the second year we've done this, and this has been met with a lot of positive feedback. Returning attractions this year that we had at our fair, with the animals are always a hit. We had Caroline's Barn with the animal displays, our racing pigs, of course. We increased our number of livestock shows because it is about the children and working with them and providing an opportunity in which they can show all of their animals. The dog show with the Humane Society is always a hit, as well as we have our usual home goods, antique trucks, tractors, fantasy face painting, and all these other things that we try to do that people have fun with, watermelon eating and hog calling and those things. We continue to be able to provide live entertainment at no extra charge. Again, this is because we have excellent sponsors who help us with this. We did add some new events for 2012, one of those being the America's Farmers Mobile Experience. This is a 54-foot display in a tractor trailer that opens up that's sponsored by Monsanto. Our fair was the only Virginia appearance of this mobile experience. We have been in contact with them since they were here in Caroline, and they have told us that the attendance here in Caroline was greater than anywhere else they've taken us in the United States, meaning the Midwest, California, what have you. So we were very excited that they had a positive experience here in Caroline with the attendance of this exhibit, and hopefully we will have them back in the future. We were able to, with some sponsorship, have the Varsity Ranch with exotic animals, bull riding, pigs, again, a little pig show. That was for young children to learn how to show pigs. That was pretty exciting. Turkey Hill Cow, of course, all of our exciting home goods and heritage exhibits we have. And here's kind of a collage of lots of pictures. You see Fun for All, and that's what it's about. It's about the young, the old, and the in-between, having fun at the Caroline County Fair, doing lots of different things. We ask for feedback as people exit our fair. We want to know, what did you like, not like, how did you find out about our event, because we know we had spent right much money in advertising and we want to be sure that our money was well spent. What was exciting is that the percentage of people, the 43%, was the first time they have been to the fair. So that was an exciting number to see that. Again, they tell us the favorite events. A lot of times, animals are usually way up there as usual, and they're very excited about that. People are very positive about their experience. They feel like it's a good economic value. Of course, we can't do any of this without our sponsors, and you know that you, the Caroline County Board of Supervisors, are one of our big sponsors. You allotted $15,000 from tourism money for us this year. I hope you feel like that money was well spent in our promotion of the fair and other events at the fairground. And you can see it's a number of businesses and individuals who either provide money, goods, and services to help make everything possible that we can do. And then last but not least, of course, we have our trustees and volunteers. And this year we had donation of in excess of 9,000 hours, and that included construction hours. And I want to just take a brief minute here. I have some of those trustees and volunteers here tonight, and I'd like to take a minute for them to stand here in the audience and be recognized because they are so essential to our operation. And the highlights, of course, you can see we've had a great year. We've added 3 new buildings. We had increased attendance at our fair. We have been able to expand our advertising on the fair. We've had more people come forth wanting to be volunteers. There's a lot of excitement about coming and volunteering at the county fair, which I think is certainly wonderful. There's just the reward of doing a good thing for the citizens of Caroline, especially the youth. And so we're excited there's this continued excitement. I'm excited they want to come too because it's hot out there and it's dusty and all those good things too. So we're always excited to have lots more people share and all that fun. What are we doing next? Of course, you've got a flyer that talks about our Fall Fun Festival that's the last Saturday of this month. That's a free event that we have, and you also contribute to that, and we list you as a sponsor. You contributed $500 to that, and that helps pay for some of the activities that we're having and for the candy, for the tailgate trick-or-treat component. I've given you a flyer tonight. Hopefully you can share that. Perhaps come, take it to work, what have you, to spread the word about that event. That's a way we try to give back to the community with this free event. We're excited we're able to support youth education programs in the school system. We have worked with the culinary arts program this past year as well. When we've had venues in which we've needed food preparation done, we have worked with the chef there, and as part of our give back to them, we have made a contribution to them so that those children can attend their state competitions. that they have. And we are very excited that we can do that, as well as participating with the agriculture education classes too. And that's what it's about for us, trying to promote youth and work with those youth here in the county. We're already soliciting sponsors for 2013, and the date is July 10 through 13, 2013, already doing save the date cards for that, getting the information out. As this year ended, we've already signed contracts for 2013 and getting ready. It's certainly wonderful, and we've only been able to do this the past few years after we received our permanent fairground home in 2009. Prior to that, we never knew when the fair was going to be because we were at the mercy of the place where we were holding the fair. But this is such a godsend for us that we can do that. And it was through, certainly as you know, the generosity of Ms. Tate and her family that it's just helped us to have this momentum and to be able to be more professional in what we're doing with the fair organization. And that's all that I have. I hope you will agree with me that we are giving you your money's worth, and that you remember that when the budgetary process comes up again here for the next year. And I think there's something on the agenda tonight as well. If you have any questions, I'd certainly be glad to try to answer those. If I can't answer it, I'll just have to get back to you.
Thank you, Ms. Whitaker. Appreciate it. Board members have any comments, any questions of Ms. Whitaker? We appreciate what you do and what the other members, the volunteers, do at the
Thank you so
Caroline
much.
County Fair.
We appreciate you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Is there an item on the consent agenda any board member wishes to pull?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to pull letter L, please.
What?
Letter L.
I had that one pegged as well. Anyone else?
Item D.
Okay. Are there any other items?
M is like a procedural one. We can't reimburse building and zoning fees. We have to make a contribution to that.
That's what we've said. Nonprofit, as far as reimbursement. But I mean, it has to be reallocated. It has to be allocated.
We have to actually, and the M is the one that regards the county fair, but our policy is I think we can't waive fees. We have to make a contribution of what those fees are. They've already paid, so we make a contribution in kind of whatever that fee is, which basically gets them their money back, and that's even. Okay. So do we need to do anything special for him?
I don't think we need to do anything other than make sure it's on the consent agenda as far as a reimbursement. This is not a waiver. This is a reimbursement. That's what it's required. Any other items on the consent agenda that wish
It's got to be a donation.
to be pulled? All right. Is there a motion to approve A, B, C, E through K, and M and N?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Taylor, seconded by Mr. Black, that we're going to approve A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, M, and N.
M just says donation instead of reimbursement. That's it. It just says reimbursement, or it says donation. Fine.
Further discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion is carried. D, Seeley.
Mr. Chairman, I understand that this was new to us 2 years ago, and in discussions with some folks at the General Assembly, I don't disagree with the resolution, but I think before we pass it, we should at least have a conversation with the rest of the folks that represent us to make sure there are state cuts coming from the Washington, D.C. cuts in local at the state appropriations and local appropriations, and until we hear what those are, and we're not going to know until after January 2nd, I think we need to wait and have this discussion about this particular agenda item and figure out where funding is going to come from after we see what the sequestration cuts are going to be across the board to us and to the state. Because we may not want to bite out, we may not want to take another bite out of a different apple at this point. Just my thoughts after talking to one of our representatives.
I guess my concern is the fact that this is only one item out of many that's going to be impacted as far as the state budget is going to be concerned, which in essence I'm confident is going to pass on down to local governments as well. You're talking about federal.
I'm talking about the federal sequestration that's going to affect state
Yeah,
and local.
Absolutely. And I'm saying this is only one item, so I don't know. Maybe we may want to wait. Today I met with the superintendent of schools and the chairman, and they are talking about, they are concerned about monies being cut out of the federal budget that they get.
And that's why I'm sort of cautionary about this, that I think we may want to wait and be more comprehensive and get a good look at what's coming before we misstep first. I'm not against sending a resolution.
Yeah,
I'd just like to be comprehensive.
I don't know, Mr. Chairman. I understand what Mr. Seeley is saying, but again, we're talking the Line of Duty Act. It's for firefighters and their families that were disabled or dead. I think we need to send a resolution to say we think this is an important issue right now. We believe they've made a contribution to the county, and we in turn are supporting them, understanding the cuts are coming. $52,000 is what we're talking about here. It's going to be a lot more for the state, but we need to say ahead of time we support the folks that support us.
I don't think there's any question about supporting. I don't think that's the question, because the General Assembly has already passed that responsibility to us.
Right.
So we have to pay it.
Right.
And so I don't know that sending a resolution saying we support the volunteer firefighters and rescue does any good, because they're our people, and the state is saying if you want them, you pay for it. And if you're going to pass a resolution, I would hope it would be more in line with the resolution we passed 2 weeks ago when we talked about the state saying, hey, are we telling the governor, you talk about all this money you have in a surplus,
That's what I'm
then
saying.
share some of that money back at local level,
That's what I'm saying.
if that's what we're talking about. But again, I have no problem with what Mr. Seeley is saying, that we wait until we have a comprehensive look at what all the cuts are going to be, and what we're going to go back. They've been nickel and diming the governors every time we see something that we want him to stop fund or start funding for the county. May not be the way to do it. It may be better to say, hey, this is the big picture that's out there for us to look at, and we want some help. Other discussion? Just wait. Are we going to wait for until after the 1st of January? Because we'll know something, hopefully by January 1st or shortly thereafter, is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it would hurt, Mr. Chairman, if we waited to January. And both members have good points, but certainly we wouldn't err if we waited.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either. Okay, that item will be pulled from the consent agenda. Item D. Item L. Mr. Black.
Mr. Chairman, I guess I'm looking at this. I guess I was just kind of curious as why this was on the consent agenda. It's a request for. I mean, basically what it looks like to me is a request for next year's budget. Is that correct? To possibly fully fund them next year, correct?
Now, they wanted full funding this year. We recommended, to be consistent with the last meeting, that you only consider full funding them in next year's budget, which would basically be a denial of their request,
Okay.
which was consistent with
So
last.
this would be denial of full funding.
Yeah, our recommendation is to do just what you did with the
With,
George
all right.
Washington.
Thank you. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Other questions? So just to make sure, approval of this item on the consent agenda would be a denial for the additional monies they're requesting for this year. All right, is there a motion to approve L?
So moved.
Seconded by, made by Mr. Black, seconded by Mr. Taylor.
Thomas.
Lord Thomas, I forget you. Mr. Thomas.
We look just alike.
Any further discussion on the motion?
Can I get them to turn the TV cameras on for me?
No. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion's carried.
Can we do 6? Yeah. 6 and 7.
Let's go to number 7. I believe a couple of people from the chamber, and in case we have questions, they will be able to answer those questions that we have. So let's go to item 7 on the agenda. We could be out by 7:30, 8 o'clock. Who's going to make that presentation? Other than Mrs. Napier?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, Mrs. Napier? Ms. Napier? Just wait, and if we have any questions, then we'll certainly call you up.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I had a meeting with Ms. Napier and some members of the chamber, and they've given up the lease on their space in the building over at Ladysmith Road and Route 1, and they wanted to know if we had any space available where maybe they could move in. They're not necessarily asking for rent-free, but this is sort of the initial discussions if the board would consider it. And what I offered to them is we had vacated the premises that was once economic development, more recently public works, which is just down the street in Bowling Green from the courthouse as you move south on 301. I think y'all are probably familiar with the little building that I'm talking about. And that they may be able to share that building or use that building if the board so if we're not using it at this time and don't really have any plans to put any county staff in there. The only plan I have for anything on that, and it's not official yet, I have been told by the social service director that Caroline's Promise needs to move out of the social service building, so it maybe it could be a shared use with Caroline's Promise person that currently in this building up on the second floor, that maybe they could all work in there together with enough space and even some separate entrances if need be, because there is a back door out and then a front door out. So I think we haven't gone down there and looked at it, but I think we didn't want to get too far if there wasn't really a blessing of the board to move forward on trying to work something out. Obviously, the chamber had been in Bowling Green a number of years before they went to Ladysmith. So
My only question would be, and I have no problem working with either organization, but we bought that building in probably the 90s.
I know we bought it for 90 something.
Was it 90-something? I was thinking it was less than that. But if we could just find out what we purchased for. And, I was talking to someone from Bowling Green about 2 weeks ago, and it appears that this person had been approached by a business that was wanting to know what the county was going to do with that building. Make it sell it or lease it out. Okay. Any other comments? I certainly have no problem in the chamber having using that building or any other facility the county has to run their office.
I think the shared use is worth looking at. So.
You need a motion?
Yeah, I think that probably a motion is in order that we allow the county attorney to draw up an agreement, lease agreement between the chamber and the county.
Do we want to add Caroline's Promise to that as well?
Well, let us wait and see what happens with
Okay.
Caroline's Promise, and then we'll do a separate lease with them.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I would so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Taylor, seconded by Mr. Seeley, that we have the county attorney to work with the county staff to draw up a lease between the county and the chamber for the uses of the whole Economic Development Office. Discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. And the motion is carried. Thank you, Ms. Napier. Appreciate you all being here. Item number 6, adoption of a resolution urging an end to local government aid to the Commonwealth, one we just talked about a few minutes ago. So item 6. Were there any questions about the resolution? Well, that's super.
Well-
Looks good. Go ahead, Mr.
I don't disagree with the resolution, and I understand that this topic is so sort of encompassing, but just be mindful that we may be looking at a much different picture January 2nd, January 3rd, whatever. And I guess what I want to be is comprehensive when we do this so that we've got something we can defend in its entirety.
The only reason I would separate the two is the fact that this is strictly state, and the other is going to be a pass down from the federal government. And I think then we have to try to work with our federal legislators as well as state legislators to try to get some relief here. Because I can tell you, if everything falls into place come January 1, as it is on track to happen, we're all going to be in serious business, serious trouble. And so I would like to see this resolution go in dealing with the state, and then we deal with the federal government cuts and issues at that time.
Yeah, I'm a little more forceful on this one because I think this is one we definitely need to say. We've also had, I think, support from the Commissioner of Revenue on this one too. So I think this is a case where we need to say, especially considering it is state funding, that we need to send this resolution. And we'll hold off on that.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Underwood, that we approve the resolution as written. Discussion on the motion. All in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. And the motion is carried. All right.
I'd move that the board convene and close meeting pursuant to the personnel and legal exemptions of Section 2.2-3711A1 and Section 2.2-3711A7 of the Code of Virginia to discuss personnel matters relating to disciplinary issues involving Frog Level Rescue Squad and consultation with legal counsel related to the same.
Second.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Underwood. You heard the motion. Discussion on the motion. All in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The board will now enter